Welcome back, Truth Seeker. In the headlines right now, articles about the parallels between the deaths of the Premier League soccer owners Matthew Harding and the man from Thailand with the impossible last name to pronounce, who just died October 27th, 2018. So I got to looking at this, and from the help of some contributors in the comments, we've put a lot together here. And what we're going to talk about are the very clear parallels between the deaths of these two men and how the latest death is directly tied to the rigged World Cup. If you missed my work on Gematria Effect Sports from earlier this year, put out these videos showing how the World Cup was rigged with the scripted and obviously bogus news story of the Thai soccer team trapped in the cave, which was nothing more than a pathetic Hollywood performance. So anyway, let's put it all together now. The first of these deaths came in 1996 on October 22nd. Matthew Harding. The date of his crash, October 22nd, 1996, that was a date with a life lesson number of 57. And remember, the man who just died here was born in the year 57. We talked about this. 57 relates to the gematria of helicopter. If you're new here, we talk about the practice of coding numbers into words. It's the most important thing you could ever know about the English language. And if you doubt that, learn the code and prove it to yourself. I've been exposing it for 5 years. Every single thing that comes through the news media is scripted by this code, because the world is run by the cabal. The term the cabal comes from Kabbalah, which says God created the world by merging the letter with the number. These people are playing God over the world using the English language to do it. Of course, English is the language of the world, thanks to Britain. So anyway, this man died on a date with a life lesson number of 57. Helicopter 57, Scottish Rite, as in Scottish Rite of Freemasonry 57, Master Builder. The Master Builder number is 22. These two soccer team owners, chairmen, they died 22 years apart from each other. 22 men on the football field, the soccer field, 22, the Master Builder number. Master Builder also 57. Both deaths in England, England 57. Other words that sum to 57 that relate: Conspiracy 57, Thailand 57, the latest owner to die from Thailand, born in 57. This man didn't die on October 27th, but the latest man did. He died on 10/27. Chelsea has this gematria of 37, in light of there being parallels between these two men's deaths. Also, both deaths from helicopter crashes in October. October is the only month with 111 gematria. Helicopter also sums to 111. And in case you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers: the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, and then the reverse alphabetic order, and the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Very intuitive. When you learn the 4 ciphers, you can see it all. So Harding, when he died, he was 42 years old, and he died in 96. And we're always talking about 42 and 96. The divisors of 42 sum to 96. The word math equals 42. The word knowledge, 96. The word Freemason also sums to 96 and 42 when you use the rules of numerology. Notice the name Matthew Harding sums to 74, like Masonic, like killing, and forgot a big one. Out of these deaths being connected to London, also 74. English with the alphabetic order 74, Gematria 74, killing 74, Masonic 74, Jewish 74. This code's primarily Jewish. It's adopted into Masonry because Masonry is based in Judaism. So, with regards to dying on the 22nd for Matthew Harding, when you write out 22, it sums to 42. And doesn't that make sense? 22 is the Master Builder number. Freemason equals 42, like 22. The Freemasons, the Master Builders. The story of Hiram Abiff, the greatest builder of his time. In our base ciphers, Master Builder also sums to 147, like Freemason, like Conspiracy, like Thailand. Come over here to the United States. The White House has 147 windows, and not by accident. It's named after the Scottish Rite Freemason, George Washington. George Washington equals 74. All these other numbers matter too, but we're focused on the 74. And there's 147 windows on the White House. Windows also 74. Not an accident. These people are serious about their numbers, their coding, their rituals. So now here's something that jumped out at me right away. When Matthew Harding died, he died 65 days before his birthday. 65. And the man who just died this year died October 27th, the day leaving 65 days left in the year. United Kingdom in our most pure of the four base ciphers sums to 65. And in light of the latest death being synced up with the World Cup, which was won by France 4-2, one of the goals being an obvious joke, just showing how rigged and stupid the whole thing is. Anyway, with regards to France winning, the history of the Knights Templar goes back to France, later spread to the UK. So I couldn't help but overlook this, thinking about France. The Knights Templar are the Masonic order. They go way back. This is all Masonry. If you want to know something about the Knights Templar, you have to be a Christian to join. Christianity 65. That's the stipulation for the Knights Templar. You got to be a Christian. 65 again. So anyway, France is where the Knights Templar are from. The latest death on the day leaving 65 days left in the year is connected to the World Cup, which we're moving towards. So let's again go over the suspicious things about this man's death. Just died October 27th. The man with the impossible name, Srivaddhanaprabha, maybe. His birthday used to be this. He now has a different birthday. They've changed his birthday 2 times since he died. They changed it to April 4th, and then they changed it to June 5th. So I have no idea what his birthday really is. But originally, what it was the day he died, from his birthday to the date of death, was 207 days later. This is how Wikipedia and the rest of the world had it the day he died. From that span of 207 days is interesting because where the cave rescue was at in Thailand, and again, this man's from Thailand, from the cave rescue, or from his supposed birthday at the time to the death was 207 days, and where the cave rescue happened was at this cave with this 207 name gematria. And notice, if you lose the 0, it's a lot like 27. This man dead on the 27th, the big ritual number. Ritual 27. This happened after a Premier League match. Premier League 72 in 2 of our 4 base ciphers. The reflection of 27. His team, Leicester City, had just played West Ham United 72. Soccer, how we call it over here in the U.S., 27. Remember what day the Thai cave rescue story began? Or at least the day that they were found alive, supposedly. It was July 2nd, a date that can be written 2/7 or 7/2. It wasn't the day they were rescued, but that was the day of the headline, they're alive. So again, this man was born in 57, helicopter 57, England 57, Leicester 57, Thailand 57, like we covered, plus everything else we started with. The last owner dead on a date with a life lesson number of 57. This man's birth numerology at the time of his death, we'll just go with what it was the day it was. It's changed since, but up until his death, that's what it was. His birth numerology equates to 83, just like helicopter crash, just like football. Did I not put it up here? I must have put it up here. Maybe I didn't. Just like, with regards to 83, the word murder is also 83. And remember this 79 too. Remember the 79 as well, because look at this. From the day that this Premier League season began to the day that this helicopter crash was the 79th day of the season. 79 is the 22nd prime number, like how the previous head of the football team died 22 years earlier in October, and he died on the 22nd of October. But 79 is interesting because helicopter crash also sums to 79, just like murder is 79 and 83. So how perfect. Further, we talked about this the day he died. Date with 55 numerology, the day of the crash. He crashed after leaving King Power Stadium. King Power 55, Sacrifice 55. There's also a date with 75 numerology. Notice his last name sums to 75. His last name also sums to 147, which we just covered. Again, Thailand, conspiracy, Freemason, master builder. Notice the 105 too. We're going to get to why that matters in a moment. Remember this number 105. So again, the missing Thai soccer team found July 2nd, mocking the world. This was going on during the time of the World Cup. I was just thinking, how dumb are the people of this world? The story looks so fake. It's coming during the time of the World Cup. Come on, people. So they end up talking to this team, and it had been suggested the boys had been engaged in an initiation rite. Right? You mean like Scottish rite? You know? Remember, what's going on in this world? A lot of young children are chosen from a young age for their future roles as athletes, as actors, as politicians. I guarantee you, in 20, 30 years, you're going to hear about one of these children at least, you know, being some big person in this world. And they'll be like, remember the miracle of when he survived the cave? This is the world we're living in. The new world order, where we are mocked every day, where it is kings and queens and thrones and lies and deceit. Anyway, we're going to come back to some bigger points, but I just want to take a moment to expose some things again about this cave story in light of the World Cup. And also, they were rescued on a date with 55 numerology, just like how this Thai football team owner died on a date with 55 numerology. 7 plus 10 plus 20 plus 18, that's 55. He died at age 61, the owner, the 18th prime. This thing lasted 18 days. But look at this. The day it began, June 23rd, 18, the day it began, supposedly they got trapped in the cave that day. Date with 47 numerology. The shortened name of the cave sums to 47. The same name with the word cave, also 47 in the base ciphers. And who went on to win the World Cup? 47. France. France 47 did. Remember the Freemason logo. This is all masonry. Their compass and their logo set at 47 degrees is a tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid, which is a problem about how to establish foundation. Foundation 47, news 47, government 47, authority 47, time 47. The story was synced up with the World Cup. This story lasted 22 days, the master builder number. And master builder 147, like Freemason, like conspiracy, like Thailand. These are all the things we were talking about then that we've talked about a million other times since. With regards to 47 and 147, their pairing comes through the word 47th, which equals 147. And in the 47th chapter of Genesis, Jacob, who becomes Israel, dies at 147. Remember, this code of letters and numbers is Jewish, comes from Kabbalah. So the final score hosted in Russia was 4-2, right? 22 equals 42, Freemason 42, Russia 42. The big G in the Freemason compass symbolizes 42. Instruments of mathematics around 42. Instruments of geometry as well. We're talking about the geometry piece around the G. Don't forget the gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, means geometry and language. But thought I had the note here. There are some other interesting things here that I covered in the video I put out. It was in the year 1947 that France, what did they call it? You'll have to watch my videos from July. In 1947, I forget what they renamed this territory where this cave is, but France was in control of this territory in 47 where this cave is, further cementing the ritual of the number in their rigged World Cup. But here's one of the better commenters. If you see this guy's comments in my videos, you should always read him. He's really good. He made a lot of awesome observations. He connected the 207 piece with the cave and the the businessman dying 207 days from his birthday. But the day that this Thailand cave story began, June 23rd, this territory that used to be French, that's the 174th day of the year. And the thing about 174 is it's number of the beast. New World Order also sums to 174. Special number here. The number of the beast is 666, and helicopter equals 666, October equals 666. Over here in the U.S., there's been a lot of 666 rituals with Donald Trump and helicopters. Read my book. Anyway, this is not an accident. This is all part of the planned ritual. And in light of France winning in this Thai cave story being a tribute to the rigged World Cup for France, considered the greatest player in football history for France is Zidane. I used to have an English teacher in high school that was obsessed with this man. But look at his birthday. His birthday is June 23rd. June 23rd, considered one of the greatest players in France's history. France goes on to win the World Cup. You get this pathetic story out of the cave, which couldn't have been any more fake. And for the person out there who's going, how do you know the story's fake? If you're that person out there, I mean, like, seriously, dude, or whoever you are, I mean, seriously is my response to you. Did you pay attention to that story? Did anything make sense about that story? Do you remember when they had cameramen in the cave showing you the children day after day? Literally, they had cameramen in there showing you the children all standing up. Supposedly, they've been starving for the better part of a month. They're all just standing there staring at the camera. How are cameramen getting in there, but they can't get a rescue team in there to help get the kids out? You know, none of this made any sense. Plus, it came during the time of the World Cup. It was probably the most pathetic news story I've ever seen in my life, honestly. And that's saying a lot, because I've lived through 9/11. That used to be the number one. This story was even more pathetic. Anyway, I had to laugh here. I saw this thing about how Zidane got this honor of 108 times in France. 108, huh? Remember, the whole world of sports is scripted by the numbers. Geometry, 108 forwards and backwards, the Freemason logo, the instruments of geometry. What's the significance of 108 geometry? Well, a lot. It has to do with the sun, the earth, the moon. From the earth to the sun is the diameter of 108 suns. The diameter of the sun is 108 earths. And from the moon to the earth is the diameter of 108 moons. Also, 108. Line, circle, two circles. Geometry is mostly about lines and circles. 108 forwards and backwards, alphabetic order and reverse alphabetic order. Perfect symmetry. Geometry is about symmetry. Numbers all over the world of sports. Here in the U.S., big sport, Major League Baseball. Cubs just broke the 108-year curse. I guaranteed they would in spring training. Red Sox just won the World Series with 108 regular season wins. They also had 54 losses, 54 outs in a complete game. On a Major League Baseball, there's 108 double stitches. For the Super Bowl, they sew 108 game balls every year, and I could just go on and on and on. The entire world of sports is all masonry. It's all rigged by the code. From scripted games to murders to news stories by the numbers that go with it. I've been exposing this nonstop since 2013. Nonstop, I've been exposing this. Now check it out. From the World Cup, where the score was 4-2, to the death of this man in Thailand was 105 days. And again, what was his name? Srivaddhanaprabha. I don't know. The easier way to say it is just 105. His last name was 105. His last name was also 147 like Thailand. It was also 75 like the date numerology he died on. So this is what it's all about. Notice that's also 3 months and 13 days. 3 months and 13 is a lot like 313, which is the 65th prime number. And again, those were the numbers that tied together the two deaths of the heads of these football/soccer teams. As we said, United Kingdom equals 65. The first owner died 65 days from his birthday. The next man died on the day leaving 65 days left in the year. United Kingdom, 65. The Knights Templar came from France to the United Kingdom. See how it all fits? I think it fits rather nicely, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more to this riddle that we're only just beginning to uncover. And keep your eyes on Zidane from France. Keep your eyes on that man. What are they going to do with him? Maybe he's got a big championship coming. He coaches now. So that's how it is, though. One more example of news by the numbers, sports by the numbers, and I feel bad for all the people who call it a coincidence. These are the lowest functioning people in our society. But then again, so are most sports watchers. Got to be pretty low functioning to not see that sports are rigged. And I know saying things like that will piss people off. It's why I don't have any friends anymore. But I'd rather not have friends if they're so retarded, personally. That's just me. You know, sports are pathetic. News media is pathetic. Government's pathetic. And so are we for falling for all of it, for being distracted, for submitting to it, for succumbing to it. The world needs to grow a pair. All right, I got to get off, but before I go, I will just peek in the chat. I'm just looking for comments here, new comments that first time my eyes are on the chat. Oh my God, 29 likes, the football number. That's got to be something. Only 104 watching. We got to get some more likes, people. Look up Rose Mallinger. Okay, I'll look it up. Fix your radio web link. What, it doesn't work? Let me see. Took me right where I needed to be. Looks like it works to me. Got a radio show every Wednesday night. Thanks for all the new likes. Rose. Oh, well, we were talking about her already, the 97-year-old. Yeah, we know all about it. All right, you guys. Sounds like a lot of you didn't get alerted. That's just par for the course. Big Ben in the chat reminds us, great contributor, that full moon equals 108. That's right. And it's all, and again, that's a great point that Ben brings that up. We were just talking about geometry in 108 and the sun, moon, and the earth. Full moon has to do with the relationship between those three things. Full moon, 108 forwards and backwards. The moon's on 13 cycles. Notice the gematria of 45. Geometry also has that 45. Another special number. That's why baseball, which is all about these numbers, Major League equals 45. If you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. A lot of clever mathematical thinking. 9 a special number in numerology. Boaz and Joaquin equals 108, does it? Sure does. There's some symmetry. And what do they represent? They have a lot to do with the sun and the moon. All right, you guys. Yeah, people are saying buy the book. I agree. Nobody bought the book this whole presentation. What a shame. What a shame. Hey, you know what time it is here? It's 5:07. It's a good time to sign off since this whole thing was about 57 in a lot of ways. All right, truth seekers, until next time.